All right, well, let's talk about family reunions. You want to decide how large of a family reunion you want to have. And in our family, we have them on 3 different levels. And so the first level is this level here. It's your family, your children, and your grandchildren. So it's a 3-generation family reunion. And these family reunions are great. Last year we went up to Logan Canyon, stayed overnight there, and then we went to Bear Lake and stayed overnight at Bear Lake, a couple nights there, and just had a great time. Just so many wonderful experiences. Or you can have a family reunion where it's, the parents or grandparents and all of their descendants. And so the one that we have coming up that we do every other year is my grandparents' descendants. So that's 5 generations. Of course, the first generation is gone. My grandparents are both deceased. So there's just 4 generations that come. Take 5 counting the great-grandchildren now, second great-grandchildren. But we hold this reunion every other year, and we take turns on who does it. And we've had it all different places. We've gone to Cedar City and gone to the Shakespearean Festival. We used to go to Fish Lake, because that was an old family favorite place that we go fishing every year. So we had the family reunion at Fish Lake for a while. We've had it up in Salt Lake. We've had it here in Orem, in Provo area, just different places. Last time, 2 years ago, we had it at Midway and at the Heber Valley Girls Camp, and that's where we're having it again this coming time, the same location. And so those can be kind of fun. Then the next ones that we're involved with are ancestral line family reunions. So you take a surname, for instance, so like the Porters. So we used to have Porter family reunions. All of the descendants of Sanford Porter were invited to come, and they would gather, and we'd have those at Porterville. In fact, we still do have them at Porterville. Those are in August, and there's a few people who come. That one is not as well attended because you're not as close to people. That's what we found. So we used to have, let's see if I can name them all. We used to have these ancestral ones: Stevenson, Richards, Porter, Tucker, Kingston. I think that's all that we used to have. We now only have the Richards and the Porter, and who knows how much longer they'll last. The farther back the ancestor is, in other words, the farther distant cousins you're talking about, 3rd and 4th cousins, it's harder and harder to reconnect and have a family reunion and pull it off. But there's some easy ways to do that. I'm going to mention some here just because we're not going to talk about this kind very much anymore. But one suggestion is to have like a potluck. That's what we do with these, is to have a potluck. People like to eat. And so if everybody just brings some food and you have a reason to gather and have some food, that often will tip people over the edge to come and be part of it instead of just not come at all. And so a potluck is really nice, and then having some ancestral stories is part of that. And then we always bring the Porter histories that we've done and some of the Porter research that we've done, and we bring those, and so people come and purchase a copy for themselves of those. So you have to have a reason for them to come, no matter what kind of reunion you're talking about. All right, so now let's talk about the planning. So how many of you are in charge of a family reunion coming up? So I hope everybody got that. Doing little vignettes of ancestors, those are really effective. With our extended Stevenson one, not the ancestral one, but the one that's my grandparents, that we do every other year, we found that every other year works well. We first started out doing it every 3rd year, and we felt like that wasn't quite often enough. And so every family is going to be a little different. Okay, well, let's talk about some of these things here on planning. So I'm glad you got some family reunions you've either planned or have coming up. So you want to find a date. You need to plan a date. Everybody's scheduling their life differently. Some people schedule on the fly. Some people schedule a year ahead. Often with employment issues, you need to know probably a year ahead, or at least by the first of the year if it's a summertime event. And so planning it well in advance will give everyone a much better shot of being able to be there, at least all those that want to be there. The next thing you want to do is consult with the family, see what date works best for them. If you're in charge or one person's in charge and they just pick a date out of the hat without consulting everybody, they may find that there's a huge conflict with one side of the family. Maybe there's a wedding that they're having in a different city that same time period, or some other things going on. And so set a target date, announce to everybody, and have them say, does that date work with everybody? It's not in stone yet. We just want to see if it's going to work. Obviously, with a large family organization, it's not going to work for everybody. You're not going to find a date that's going to be perfect for everybody. But if you can find a date that works for the vast majority, that's what you want to do. So if you keep the frequency at a pattern that is that same time period, so like my grandparents' descendants, the one we do every other year, we do that pretty close to the 4th of July. So it's usually just before the 4th of July. This week it's right after the 4th of July. And some weeks it's the week after the 4th of July. But everybody kind of has in mind that that's the target time for it. And we know 2 years in advance, because as soon as the reunion is finishing, the next family that's in charge announces the date for the next one. And of course, they've already consulted with everybody and they know it. With our Stevenson reunion that's coming up, we have a website for that, for people to sign up with stuff. And it's so easy to do a website now that's really a nice way to communicate with people that are at a far distance. Another consideration with these large ones is if you do have a wedding coming up, is to schedule it with the wedding. So that's an example of how we've done it in our family. So in June this year, we've got a niece who's getting married. And so she's getting married here in the Valley. She's from D.C., but she's getting married here. And so all of my wife's family, they haven't had a reunion. We're trying to figure out how long it's been. It's been like 12 or 13 years since they've had a reunion with everybody that's called a family reunion, other than just gathering for special events. And so they decided that the day before, not the day before the wedding, but the day before the preparation for the wedding, so 2 days before the wedding, that everyone will come that extra early, and that all Thursday will be a family reunion event. So we'll all during the day, nothing overnight, but just all day long. We're going to start early in the morning, go all the way into the night, and then everybody can help do the preparation for the wedding reception, the wedding stuff on Friday, and the wedding Saturday. And it's just going to be a nice weekend. And so if you do have a special event that's coming up, you can plan around that and make it happen because of it. At least in my opinion, the main blessing or benefit of having a family reunion is getting people to talk with each other. To me, that's the gravy. That's what it's all about, is getting able to catch up with people, to strengthen those family bonds. And then all the other things that happen along with it are just to get them there and get them so that they have a chance to talk. But yes, going on a vacation reunion works really well too. Again, those are smaller family organizations. This one with the wedding is a smaller family organization, so you can be a little more flexible and pull it off at the last minute. With Education Week, we've got, on our Stevenson side, we got several relatives on the Stevenson side that like to go to Education Week, and so we have a tradition, it's not a reunion, but a tradition that at the end of the day, we all meet in the Wilkinson Center and we chat about the classes that we've had and get a little snack to eat. And anyway, that's a great thing to do. All right, and then really key is to keep frequent communication with people. which is really easy in the digital age now. Almost all the communication we've done with my grandparents' descendants' family reunion has all been through email. Almost everybody has email nowadays, or has somebody who will give it to them. My dad doesn't have an email address, but I get it for him and print it out and give it to him or communicate it to him. So almost everybody has email availability now, and so it makes it communicating and keeping everybody up on what's going on a lot easier. You got to find a location that's going to fit the family. So you talked about Yellowstone, renting a house outside Yellowstone. So finding a house that's going to be big enough for however many people, that's part of the key. That's part of what you've got to figure out. As I mentioned, with my grandparents' family reunion, we used to do it down at Fish Lake, which was great because we had a lot of family memories there. Well, what happened was my parents' generation started getting to the point where they couldn't get around on that unstable ground. And the altitude was also an issue. And so we had to make the hard decision that we were going to go someplace else. And so we just moved it to another location. As I mentioned before, we did Cedar City, we've done Yosemite, we've done Carmel. We did Yosemite a lot of years ago. This was before that the older generation was getting so they couldn't get around. But we've gone different places, and each of the family, there's 5 brothers, and they each take turns planning it. And now it's come down to my generation, so it's my generation that's now planning it. You want to figure out what to do about all the different ages involved. Like with the family reunion coming up with this wedding, well, my wife's side of the family, we've kind of analyzed the ages, and we thought through, okay, what activities are going to work well for this age group, what's going to be interesting and going to be a draw for this age group, what's going to be interesting and a draw for this age group, and you can't have the whole reunion around one age group. You really need to say, okay, we need to have some of it around this one, and some of it around this one, and some of it around this one. And usually people understand that, and they're fine. As long as there's something for them, then they're okay sitting and watching while somebody else is doing something. So we're going to do, we've got a lot of little kids with the Williams family. And so we're going to do an obstacle course. I love doing obstacle course for kids. And so my grandkids, every family reunion we have with my grandchildren, we always do an obstacle course every time. And so they just love it. And so we thought we'd do that. And so, the parents and the grandparents, they can just sit around and watch. They don't need to do the obstacle course, but they'll enjoy watching because there'll be some other activities that will be geared for the parents and for the grandparents. Talent show is also very good. Good suggestion. Yeah, we've done talent shows and programs. You want to just remember and think through those that have a special diet needs or other special needs, and just be aware of them so they don't feel left out. Maybe there's those that are allergic to certain kinds of foods, and so you want to keep that in mind. Or you may have some diabetics, and so you need to make sure that there's some meals that are involved that will fit their dietary needs. Or you may have some vegetarians or something that might need something. So we've done it both ways, where we've had it catered and where we've done potlucks, and where we've done it where we've been able to do a mix of catering where you just get food from the BYU catering, where you get the food and you serve it yourself rather than have it catered completely. And food is always a big draw, and so think through the food and don't skimp there. Don't go hog wild. You want to count your pennies, because something that's too expensive for the family makes it very difficult for them to come.